This is the blueprint to making your first $1 million. I'm gonna walk you through it step by step, even if you're starting with your first dollar. Now, there's 3 levels to the blueprint. The first level is personal development. And inside of personal development, there is knowledge, skills, motivation, and environment. And 1 out of 9 Americans are a millionaire, and the reason for that comes down to knowledge. And if you're wondering, who are you to say this? My name is Tanner Chister. I've generated over $115 million in under 6 years. I also own 3 tech companies, and every business I've ever started has at least generated multi-7 figures per year. Now, no one in my family had ever been a business owner before or an entrepreneur, so I thought that the only way that I could make money was to go to school and get good grades and get a degree. But when college athletics ended for me and I realized I really hated doing what I was doing, which was studying petroleum engineering, I had lunch with one of my mentors named David Fry, who is a family friend. And as we sat down, he asked me, Tanner, what are your goals? What do you want to do? And I just remember saying, I want to make a shitload of money. And he started to show me that there were different ways that I could make money that I never knew existed. My eyes opened and I was open to the opportunity to start doing that. Next are the skills you have, and these are the things you do. Now, some people claim that they have a certain trait, but really a trait is a bundle of skills put together. For example, if you want to learn sales, you would need to learn how to actively listen, keep good eye contact, have proper body language, learn objection handling. And if someone has all those skills, they would even then say they're good at sales. But then if you wanted to level up, you could learn marketing. But then to learn marketing, you would have to understand paid ads and writing copy and social media. And you'd also have to learn websites. And then if you understand sales and marketing, you can now actually acquire customers and run a business. And as you earn more skills, you become much more valuable. And the more you learn, the more you get. The next step is then to get motivated. For example, if you're motivated to eat, it's because you're hungry. If you're motivated to sleep, it's because you're tired. If you're motivated to be a millionaire, it's because you aren't one yet. Motivation comes from deprivation. And an easy way to become motivated financially is simply to surround yourself around people who make more money than you. And if you don't know anyone yet who does, then at the very least, create a reference point you can aspire to be like. For example, I look up to guys like Gary Vee, Andy Frisella, and Ed Mylett. And these guys are people I aspire to be like who feel within reach. Now, when I started my business, no one besides my mentor thought it was going to work. My girlfriend at the time broke up with me because of it. Her mom thought I was stupid. My family thought I was stupid. And to be honest with you, I thought maybe I was stupid because no one had ever done this before in my family. And I didn't know anyone who'd actually had success before. But what it taught me as I started to learn through my mentor and I was pushing towards building this business is that I had to decide that I wanted to be successful more than I cared about other people's approval. And this is the perfect segue into environment. Think about your environment as a lubricant, or it could be friction for your goals. If you want to change someone's behavior, you have to change their environment. For example, if I wanted a group of people to lick the floor, first I could lock all the doors in the room and say they couldn't leave until they did. And next I could withhold water and food. And third, I could even offer $10,000 of cash. All I had to do was to change their environment to get them to do what I wanted. So the purpose of your environment is how do you make it as easy as possible to work as hard as you can, and then how do I eliminate everything else that distracts me from my goals? Or to be more specific, how do I get rid of doing all the stuff that distracts me from learning the skills that take me to my goals? And if you're unsure, put everything through a filter of, does this take me closer to my goals or further away? And once you cut out all the things that are taking you further away, you will only be left with your focus on the things that take you closer to your goals, and then you only do that. When I made the commitment to start my business, what I did is I moved home, I stopped dating, I stopped seeing any friends, I didn't party, I didn't drink, I didn't go to any social gatherings. I just locked myself in a 300 square foot room in my parents' house, and I worked from 16 to 18 hours a day, would go to sleep, and then get up and do it all over again. And the reason I did that is at the time, I was so sick and tired of being broke and being poor that I was willing to do anything and cut out everything else until I could prove to myself that I could actually make money and start building some level of success. And if you're sitting here wondering, hey, Tanner, that's not normal. Well, yeah, you want to be a millionaire and that's not normal. You can't expect to do what everyone else does and then get different results.